Remember Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, back in 2004? The one where you could literally eat snakes and hide in a cardboard box? Well, it's back from the dead in 2025 as Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, a ground-up remake of that PS2 classic. It's like meeting your ex 20 years later. They've had a glowing HD makeover, but deep down, they're still the same person. Quirks, flaws, and all. And you know what? It feels like home. In today's weekend-worthy review, we're diving into this nostalgia trip of jungle espionage, seeing if this remake is a stealthy success or just a dinosaur from another era. Spoilers, it might be a bit of both. Before we snap on the bandana and chow down on tree frogs, CQC slam that like button and consider subscribing to Weekend Worthy for more brutally honest game reviews. We post reviews every weekend. Alright, let's camouflage up and get started. First things first, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is a remake of Hideo Kojima's 2004 stealth masterpiece. It's set in 1964 Cold War era Soviet jungle. The story, characters, and overall settings remain untouched. Konami didn't dare mess with what many consider the best Metal Gear story arc. You're still Naked Snake, aka the future big boss, on an epic mission to eat everything that moves. I mean, stop a nuclear menace while surviving the wild. All the iconic moments are here. The jaw-dropping boss fights, the long-winded codec calls about obscure military hardware, the melodramatic betrayals, and yes, that ridiculously long ladder climb with the Bond-esque theme song serenading you. If you played the original, expect to be hit with deja vu harder than Snake getting suplexed by the boss. What's completely new is the presentation. This remake is gorgeous. Like, wait, when did my PS5 start rendering actual jungle levels of gorgeous? Konami and co-developer Virtuous have rebuilt the game in a modern engine, meaning dense foliage, dynamic lighting, and detailed character models. The Cobra unit bosses, Kojima's finest collection of weirdos, look hugely upgraded. From the Fury's flames billowing in blinding HDR to the End's wrinkles in 4K. It's a massive glow-up that makes the original's graphics look like a muddy blur by comparison. Despite the facelift, Delta wears its authenticity like camouflage. In fact, the original voice recordings from 2004 are largely reused. That's right, David Hayter's iconic gravelly snake voice is back. Essentially time traveled from the PS2 era. They even dragged him into the studio to record a few new lines for updated control tutorials. The result? Longtime fans will instantly feel at home, with every familiar grunt and
"Kept you waiting, huh?"
uttered in the exact same tone as 2 decades ago. It's like auditory comfort food, only now served in a lossless, high-quality audio instead of compressed PS2-era sound. Here in Colonel Camp, Major Zero, Eva, Paramedic, and the gang with their original performances gave me instant nostalgia goosebumps. Kojima may not have been involved in this remake, but his spirit is all over it. And speaking of Kojima's spirit, he famously said he won't even play this remake. Ouch. That's like your dad saying he's not coming to your big game. But you know what? Konami's team set out to prove they can do it justice, without the mastermind. They even named it Delta, to signify change without changing the essence. Basically, their way of saying, we remade it, but don't worry, it's still the same game you love. Bold promise. But for the most part, they delivered, though sometimes maybe a bit too faithfully, as we'll see. Alright, let's talk gameplay. MGS3 was always a peculiar stealth game. Equal parts brilliant sneaking and hilarious slapstick when things go wrong. In Delta, that formula remains intact. It's still the tense crawl through the bushes to stalk an enemy sentry until he spots you and all hell breaks loose. The difference now is the controls and camera are modernized, so going from silent predator to panicked John Rambo is smoother than ever. Konami added an over-the-shoulder free camera option in the new style, in addition to the classic fixed camera, which is legacy style. The new style camera feels a lot like modern Metal Gear Solid 5. You have full control of the viewpoint, making it much easier to see what the hell you're doing in these detailed environments. If you're a purist or feeling especially psychotic, you can still play with the top-down angles to recreate the PS2 vibe. The controls have been tuned up as well. Snake moves and shoot with a responsiveness that wasn't quite there in the original. Aiming feels snappier. You can actually move while crouched and shoot. Crazy how he used to stand still to aim back then. Konami somehow preserved the exact feel of Snake Eater's controls while making them not feel outdated. Don't get me wrong, there's still that classic MGS fussiness at times with stance and positions. The movement controls are clunky enough to have you clinging to walls and trees because you couldn't move Snake the way you wanted. But overall, controlling Snake is more fluid and user-friendly in Delta, which lowers the frustration factor considerably. They also threw in some much-needed quality of life improvements. For instance, changing camouflage used to be a whole pause menu ordeal. You'd open the menu, scroll through the camos, exit, check your camo index. How many fucking times am I gonna do this? Now it's just a quick select menu on the D-pad. Hold up on the D-pad, pick a camo pattern, and bam, Snake instantly swaps outfits with a slick Fox logo animation. It's actually fun to use and encourages you to play Fashion Soldier on the fly. In my playthrough, I was switching between face paints like a TikTok cosplayer, jungle camo, snow camo, even a dumb banana print camo they added from the Ape Escape crossover. Don't ask. The UI is modern and intuitive across the board. You'll notice similar upgrades in the items and weapons menu. No more wrestling with clunky inventories while a guard is shooting at you. That said, not everything got streamlined. Konami had a philosophy here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it was a little broke but nostalgic, also don't fix it. Case in point, the injury treatment system. In Snake Eater, when Snake gets hurt, you don't just auto-heal. You go into a survival viewer and manually treat each wound. Got shot? Gotta dig out the bullet with a knife. Use disinfectant, suture it, and bandage it. In Delta, this is still exactly how it works. They didn't dare change the realism of having Snake perform field surgery on himself every 5 minutes. So during intense fight, you'll still be pausing to patch up gunshot wounds repeatedly. Sometimes the same wound over and over if a boss keeps nailing you in the chest. It's as absurd and clunky as ever. Imagine if in Halo, you had to apply burn cream after every plasma hit. Here, it can feel tedious, clicking through the menus to apply 3 different items to heal one boo-boo, then doing it again 30 seconds later. By modern standards, it's kind of archaic, but weirdly, in Metal Gear, it kind of fits the survival vibe. There's some silver lining here, though. The game makes sure you see why Snake is basically a walking medical exhibit. If you get dropped into leech-infested swamp water, you'll climb out covered in slimy leeches and have to burn them off with a cigar. When Snake takes damage, the new graphics actually show cuts, blood, and bruises on his body. It's gruesome, but really sells that he's getting absolutely f***ed out there. So even when you're annoyed, pausing to bandage up, it reinforces the theme. Survival is hard. By the end of the game, Snake looks like 10 miles of bad road, and you feel like you've been through the ringer with him. It's a love it or hate it thing. In our case, we loved it, but also kind of hate how much we love it. Now, a Metal Gear game wouldn't be complete without its batshit crazy mechanics and Easter eggs. Good news, nearly all the secret tricks from the original are back. The old camouflage trick of wearing a crocodile cap on your head to fool the crocs still works. The hidden Keraton frog statues you had to shoot for an Easter egg, they're all in the same places, ready for round 2 of Scavenger Hunt. And now they added camouflage gecko ducks to find as well. They've basically doubled the hide-and-seek collectibles for returning players. Challenge accepted, Konami. And yes, they kept that one infamous boss gimmick, where if you wait a real-life week, the ancient sniper called The End will die of old age. The ultimate insult to his AARP membership. Easiest boss kill ever? Perhaps. But also a sign that some game design choices truly were wild in 2004 and remain wild now. Elden Ring, take notes, please. Crucially, the core loop remains a blast. Methodical stealth infiltrations punctuated by all hell breaks loose action sequences. This game shines when you screw up and things go off the rails. 1 minute, I'm Solid Snake Jr., crawling through the grass, lining up a trank headshot on some poor chap. The next minute, I'm spotted because a snake bit my fucking ankle? Alarms blare, and suddenly I'm chucking grenades and sprinting through the jungle in a panic. Metal Gear Solid 3 was always secretly a game about what happens when stealth fails. And Delta preserves that beautiful chaos. Or maybe some of you perfectionists just restart the entire level over to get that perfect stealth run that'll never happen. Have I ever told you the definition of insanity? I also started my playthrough, just like you, determined to be a ghost. No alerts, all stealth. Fast forward a few hours and I'm shirtless on a mountaintop, covered in scars, surrounded by unconscious guards and empty instant noodle cups. In other words, a typical Metal Gear experience, and I love it. To balance out the madness, boss battles hit just as hard as you remember. Kojima's crew back then knew how to design memorable bosses, and fighting the Cobra unit in Delta is both nostalgic and fresh. Fights like the Fear, the invisible crossbow guy in the jungle, or the Fury, the cosmonaut with the flamethrower, play out almost identical to the original, but the overhauled graphics and audio amp up the intensity. For example, the Fury's battle in the Dark Cave is now a fireworks show of dynamic effects. Your screen fills with blinding flames and smoke as this maniac tries to roast you alive. And the legendary final boss duel with the boss? Oh man. Still an emotional gut punch. Still epic. Now with cinematic visuals that gave me chills. By the last quarter of the game, Delta hits a breakneck pace of back-to-back boss fights, chase sequences, and set piece after set piece that had me thinking they just don't make them like this anymore. Except, well, they did make this one like that. Just now it's remade in 2025. It's a testament to how well the gameplay and level design of Metal Gear Solid 3 have aged, that they had to change so little. They didn't need to reinvent the wheel, they just gave it a spit shine. Now, beyond the beefy single-player story, Metal Gear Solid Delta has something the original didn't at launch, an online multiplayer mode. Don't get excited though, if you boot the game today, you won't see it yet. Konami decided to delay the multiplayer, called Fox Hunt, until fall 2025, just a little after the remake's release. I guess even in 2025, we're still hearing the
"Kept you waiting, huh?"
from Konami. Not even MGS can escape development hell. No one can. So what is Fox Hunt? From what the devs revealed, it's an original online mode inspired by hide-and-seek style gameplay. If you're thinking this is Metal Gear Online 4, slow down, Solid.
Nani?
The devs made it clear it's not just reviving the old MGO from the subsistence days, but something new. In Fox Hunt, players are split into teams in an asymmetrical battle. One team gets to be sneaky, using stealth camo and non-lethal tactics, and the other team is heavily armed squad trying to sniff them out. The stealth team can blend into the environment using an octo camo-like system. Here, if you hold still against the wall, your suit auto-camouflages to that texture.
Head over here.
God, I miss MGS4. Meanwhile, the assault team stomps around with guns trying to spot and eliminate the sneaky players. The tension comes from the back and forth of hiding versus hunting, which fits Metal Gear's DNA perfectly. It's basically a high-tech game of hide-and-seek with tranq darts versus assault rifles. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sarp, isn't this the same thing as team sneaking from MGS4? It looks, sounds, tastes, and feels just like team sneaking from MGS4. And to that I say, Konami told you that this is an original, brand new game mode. And if you open that yapper and mention MGS4 one more fucking time, you're gonna be taking the Johnny Sasaki Express straight to Leak City. God, what a long bit. Anyways, the mode sounds promising. If done right, it could be the love child of MGO and modern competitive stealth games. Konami even said Fox Hunt shares the same world as Delta's campaign, but plays completely differently. They wanted to make a multiplayer experience that respects MGS's stealth roots, but isn't just COD with bandanas. I'm personally pretty stoked to try stalking my friends online, snapping necks, and using all kinds of goofy gadgets MGS is known for. The only bummer, it's not here yet. They pushed it to post-launch to make sure the main game shipped on time. Cue the collective eye roll for every game delayed this side of the 2020s. Ugh. On the bright side, though, when it does drop, Fox Hunt could be a game changer for busy gamers like us. Why? Well, because unlike the massive single-player campaign, multiplayer matches will likely be short, self-contained bursts of fun. Pick up and play stealth action with buddies for 20 to 30 minutes at a time. That is something even a working adult can squeeze into a weekend without losing the plot.
What the fuck?
No need to remember the intricate story details or where you left off. Just jump in, hide in a cardboard box, troll some hapless mercs, have a laugh, done. It's the kind of mode that might save this game's weekend-worthy status for those of us without heaps of free time. So keep an eye out. We'll definitely revisit Fox Hunt on the channel once it's live. Oh, and for the record, Snake vs. Monkey mode, the bizarre crossover minigame where Snake chases goofy ape escape monkeys, is also back in Delta. It's available from day one for all of your banana-loving, monkey-tranquilizing needs. I spent an hour in that mode, and look, it's still as absurd and funny as it was. Running around the jungle trying to net hyperactive cartoon monkeys while the Mission Impossible theme plays. I felt like I was hallucinating on cold medicine, in a good way. It's a nice little extra, especially for longtime fans who remember it fondly. And it shows that despite making a serious, high-fidelity remake, Konami didn't lose the series' trademark goofiness. Snake vs. Monkey is the perfect palate cleanser after an intense boss fight. And a pro tip, you can unlock the banana camo by playing it. Nothing says stealth like a bright yellow banana print on your fatigues. So we've established Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is a great remake of a truly great game. It's faithful almost to a fault. It looks and plays better than ever, with a few old-fashioned kinks, and it's packed with content. But now comes the real question for us gamers with limited free time. Is it weekend-worthy? In other words, is it worth spending your precious weekend gaming hours on, and can you get a satisfying experience without quitting your day job or neglecting your real life? This is where things get a little tricky. The main campaign took me about 20 to 22 hours to finish, doing a mix of story and side shenanigans. If you're a completionist, add a few more hours to sniff out every keratin frog and play with every weapon. Now, 20 plus hours isn't insane by modern open world standards. Hello, Skyrim.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
But it's no quick jaunt either. For many of us, 20 hours could be 2 to 3 weekends of playtime, assuming you can dedicate 6 to 8 hours each weekend. Remember, Metal Gear's story is dense. If you take long breaks, you might come back scratching your head like, wait, what the fuck am I doing again? The narrative has twists, characters who double-cross, plot jargon about legacy and betrayal. It's fantastic, but keeping track requires mental investment. If you're small brain and only play in short spurts, you risk losing the plot. And this isn't exactly a game that holds your hand with reminders. Another factor, cutscenes and codec calls. MGS3 was notorious, in a lovable way, for its long story sequences. And yeah, those are still there too. We're talking lengthy codec conversations about the origin of instant ramen, the boss delivering philosophical monologues about loyalty, and villain speeches that would make a James Bond baddie say, "Hey, wrap it up, pal." These are hugely entertaining and part of the charm, but they do pad out the playtime. If your weekend gaming time is just a couple of hours, a single play session of Delta might be one mission and a lot of exposition. Now, none of this is to say the game isn't worth it. It's absolutely worth it if you love stealth action genre or have a nostalgia for Metal Gear. In terms of quality, it gets our thumbs up. The game oozes love for the original, maybe to the point of being a little safe. However, our channel's angle is about being working adults who need to maximize fun in limited game time. And here, we hesitate a little bit. If you only have, say, one weekend to spare and you want a complete experience, you likely won't roll credits on this one unless you marathon it like a sleep-deprived college kid hopped upon Mountain Dew. Not that we recommend that. Our knees aren't what they used to be.
I'm too old for this shit.
More likely, this game will be an ongoing project over multiple weekends for most folks. So, do we give it the official weekend-worthy stamp? Here's our nuanced take. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is weekend-worthy for the right player. This is a fantastic remake, faithful, fun, and full of classic Kojima craziness. We loved our time with it. Just be ready to clear a few weekends on your calendar, because once you start sneaking, you won't want to stop. And if you find the commitment hard, remember, you've got those multiplayer shenanigans on the way and shorter game modes to keep you entertained in small bursts. And here's a hot take that'll tranquilize some of you folks, so duke it out with me in the comments section below. But my favorite Metal Gear game is MGS4 Guns of the Patriots, and I pray to our Lord and Savior Konami that we eventually get a remake of Solid Snake in the future. Regardless, let me know, are you planning to pick up MGS Delta Snake Eater? And do you think you'll finish it, or will it finish you? Or are you a newbie going in fresh? We'd love to hear your thoughts, and while you're here, crawl on over to the other videos for some more content, you fiend. As always, thanks for watching, and remember to stay sneaky.
All right, so what is this important mission? I'll say it once, and only once. I am not taking out any Metal Gears.
Don't worry.
And no saving some VIP or old man.
It's nothing like that.
If it's like a hot damsel in distress, I'll think about it.
Well, it's not quite a hot damsel in distress, but it is a rescue mission.
Rescuing who?
Apes.